Is it a bird? It's a squirrel. Is it a plane? No, it's a squirrel. It's Superman! No, Josh, it's a squirrel, you stupid fuck. Finally, something good to watch. Hello! Welcome to my channel. My name is Jay, and this is my series Unknown Animals, where we discuss species not known by the general public. Today's episode is about a squirrel that is arguably the largest in the world, the red and white giant flying squirrel. Their Latin name is Pedorrista alborufus, which directly translates to red and white rope dancer. The oldest confirmed flying squirrel in the fossil record is Neopedorrista neogrivenensis, who lived in Spain 11.6 million years ago during the Neogene period. These squirrels were also huge, measuring 1 meter or 3 feet long from head to tail. The paleontologists that discovered them actually thought it was the remains of a primate due to how robust the bones were. Surprisingly, or perhaps not surprisingly, the closest relatives to this animal all belong in the genus Pedorrista. After combining paleontological and molecular data, they found that flying squirrels could have been evolving from tree squirrels as far back as 36 million years ago. Flying squirrels since have spread across the world with a total of 52 species, with 3 species residing in North America, 2 in northern Eurasia, and all the others being found in the forests of India and other parts of Asia. Flying squirrels come in all sizes, from the adorable Borneo dwarf flying squirrel to the giant woolly flying squirrel. Flying squirrels have specialized wrist bones and cartilage that protrudes out to aid in gliding. Lots of species of flying squirrel are mysterious, and almost all the species in the Pedorrista genus are no exception. If you look up a specific species within this genus, for an example Pedorrista xanthatus, and go to images, you will find that these animals often get confused with other species in this genus. I mean, just look at how there's almost no information on this animal, let alone a picture. Anyways, they aren't the focus of this video. The focus is Pedorrista alborufus, the red and white giant flying squirrel. You may have seen this animal on this viral video on Instagram. This video was taken at the Kung Fu Mecca in the Wudong Mountains of China. Ninja. These squirrels, much like other flying squirrels, have a membrane of skin between their front and hind limbs called the patagium. Before launching itself off a tree, it will bob and swivel its head around to determine its route. It will then jump and spread its patagium, using the previously mentioned cartilaginous spurs on its wrists and ankles to steer in the air. Just before landing on the tree of their desire, they lift up and slow down their acceleration. They then use their padded feet as shock absorbers, and then use their sharp claws to grip the tree's bark. They have also been recorded to glide up to distances of 400 meters, or 1,300 feet.
ごめん、あまない。俺は今、お前のために怒ってない。誰も憎んじゃいない。今はただただ、この世界が心地いい。
Pedorrista alborufus is the largest in its genus. There is very little data on the population from mainland China, or how the different subspecies differ in size. The population in Taiwan, however, seems to be studied more frequently. The average size overall is 35 to 58 centimeters, and a tail length of 43 to 61.5 centimeters, which means a fairly large one is just shy of 4 feet long. This makes them the longest squirrel in the world. Well, they might have one competitor. The noble giant flying squirrel holds the record for the longest squirrel in the world at 4 feet long. You might ask, well, wouldn't they be the longest squirrel then? To answer your question, no. Well, probably not, and you'll soon see why. In terms of weight, they weigh 1.95 to 4.25 pounds, although this is based on the smaller and more studied Taiwanese subspecies. This makes them not only one of the largest squirrels, but one of the heaviest gliders in our world, with the only competition being flying lemurs, the greater glider, the giant woolly flying squirrel, members of the genus Biswamoeopterus, and the other members of the genus Pedorrista. But one of the only publicly recorded red and white giant flying squirrels on mainland China was caught. It weighed a whopping 9.46 pounds, heavier than any other gliding mammal ever recorded. Due to the lack of evidence, it's unsure whether or not this giant specimen should indicate a larger size average for the mainland population, or if it is a standalone giant of its species, much like how Robert Wadlow is for humans. It is possible for species to show a significant and diverse range of sizes for a separate population. A good example of this would be the giant mainland reticulated python, and how they differ in size from the dwarf Karampo Island reticulated python, despite being the same species. Red and white giant flying squirrels are often found in conifer and hardwood forests at elevations of 800 to 3,500 meters in mainland China, and 1,200 to 3,750 meters in Taiwan. They have even been spotted in cave systems. The red and white giant flying squirrel is sympatric with the party-colored flying squirrel, the Indian giant flying squirrel, and the complex-toothed flying squirrel. Alborufus has been reported to make high-pitched whistles, whereas the red giant flying squirrel makes comparatively low-pitched vocalizations. You would think that two large flying squirrels in the same genus would be competitors for resources, but surprisingly they aren't. It's not that this is because of the abundance of food, and because the red giant flying squirrel usually stays lower to the ground, whereas Alborufus is higher up in the canopy, rarely ever touching the ground. Alborufus has several different subspecies spread over many parts of Asia, with the two main areas of interest being mainland China and Taiwan. The subspecies that are on mainland China are as follows: Alborufus alborufus, Alborufus castinus, Alborufus leucocephalus, and Alborufus acrospis. Firstly is Alborufus alborufus. This subspecies inhabits the Gansu, Shaanxi, and West Sichuan provinces of China. Their coat is a deep dark red with a large blonde red patch on their back and another blonde red patch on their tails. These patches can range from a deep red to almost white. They have a white face and red patches around their bright blue eyes. Depending on the individual, the white face and neck will stretch down to their arms, and they may even have a red spot on their head. All of the subspecies on mainland China have a similar look, with slight differences between them. Secondly is Alborufus castinus. They are located within the Chongqing, Guizhou, Hubei, Hunan, Eastern Sichuan, Shaanxi, and Yunnan provinces of China. Thirdly is Alborufus leucocephalus, who lives in the Zhejiang province in China, but have had unconfirmed reportings in Myanmar and Bhutan. Then we have Alborufus acrospis, which is located in the Guangxi and Yunnan provinces of China. Finally, we have Alborufus lana, commonly called the Formosan white-headed flying squirrel. This subspecies is native to Taiwan. It looks far more different than any other subspecies from mainland China. They lack the red blotches around the eyes and the blonde red back and tail patch typical of mainland populations. Their underbelly is a bright white and can have a black or white tipped tail. Genetic studies show that this subspecies may share more DNA with other giant flying squirrels than they do to the red and white giant flying squirrels. Many researchers think that these differences are significant enough to warrant an upgrade from subspecies to lana belonging as a standalone species, but this change hasn't been officially accepted yet. The Formosan white-headed squirrel is on average smaller than their mainland China counterpart, with an adult's body length averaging 35 to 43 centimeters and a tail length of 44 to 48 centimeters. Unfortunately, due to the lack of research done on the Pedorista genus, there is a lot of taxonomic confusion. For an example, the giant red flying squirrel, Pedorista, much like Pedorista alborufus, has subspecies, one of which is Candidula, which live in northern Taiwan and Myanmar. There aren't many pictures of this animal on the internet, but as time goes on and more research is done, scientists believe that Candidula may be closer related to the red and white giant flying squirrel, and may possibly be considered a separate species in the future. The red and white giant flying squirrel will typically go and harvest their food at night, eating predominantly nuts and seeds. They'll also eat tender leaves, shoots, and even insects in their larvae. Due to Alborufus living high in trees and already high elevations, and the fact that they rarely ever touch the ground, they have very few predators and usually only worry about birds of prey. Because they're crepuscular, they usually avoid eagles and hawks, but owls still pose a threat. Not much is known about their breeding, but we know that they average 2 young a year. and that they like to make their nests in tree hollows or even limestone caves. These animals are currently listed as least concern in the IUCN Red List. Despite these animals having a seemingly stable population, there is little information on the species as a whole, let alone different subspecies. And for a creature that looks like they belong in Avatar: The Last Airbender, it is a shame that they don't seem to get the love they deserve. Thank you for watching. If you like content like this, feel free to watch my other videos as well. And have an absolute wonderful rest of your day.
I looked at you and said, oh, don't hate me, revive me. So tenderly, you watch me burn now. Why don't you revive me?